welcome. My name is Danielle, and I'm so glad to see you here. When many of us first come to yoga, and I know especially for me, when I first came to yoga, we come because we're feeling tightness and we want to work on our flexibility. So for most of us, if we have that sedentary lifestyle, we're sitting in a desk and a chair all day, our hamstrings start to get tight. And so today's practice is a quick 10 minutes, just hitting a couple of key poses to help wake up those hamstrings, get that mobility back in time. And so the good news is, if we are sitting in a desk all day, that doesn't mean that we have to stretch all day to get that flexibility back. All we need to do is consistent, gentle reminders a couple of times a week, maybe once a day, just letting your hamstrings know what their range of motion should be. And so 10 minutes here and there will give you that flexibility back in time, I promise you. So we're going to do 10 different poses today, 1 minute each. I've got some blocks handy, a strap handy. They might be useful, might be not. So grab what you need, and we will get started standing in a forward fold. So I'm going to go ahead and start my timer, and we will settle in. All right, so coming into our forward fold, feet are towards touching, generous bend in the knees, and find length in the spine. And we want to focus on bringing our stomach to our thighs and bring your hands down. So if you're really tight, you might want to bring a block to help support the upper body, or you can just start to bend in, but we really want to focus on keeping a long spine and a bend in the knees, and that's going to keep the stretch in the hamstrings, not in our back. So we're letting the head grow heavy, maybe tucking the chin. Maybe we're hugging our legs, getting that upper body closer to the thighs. Maybe we're grabbing opposite elbows. And just swaying for a few minutes, maybe front, back, side to side. Rolling the weight into the balls of our feet. Really feeling our kneecaps engage and focusing on really bringing that stomach to the thighs. And then we release. So coming into a wide-legged forward fold. Focusing on our feet. We want our feet kind of parallel. And again, a generous bend in the knees. Find a length in the spine. Shine the heart forward. And then start to fold in. Maybe placing the hands underneath. And again, another great place to just put a block. And we can stay with this, just really focusing on feeling that stretch, or go into a little twist. So taking that left hand underneath the heart, start to peel that right hand open. So if it feels a little tight, this is a great place for a block. You can play with the height, or you can move it out of the way and plant that left hand down on the earth. But we want to focus on keeping our hips level. We tend to hike them from side to side. And just gently opening that thoracic spine up to the side as we stretch our hamstrings, our hips. All right, then release, coming back through center. If you want to just focus on that regular forward fold, stick with it, or start to open up to the other side. So right hand plants down, left hand stretches up. And again, checking in with those hips. I feel my right hip sinking down. I want to keep them level and gently opening up that thoracic spine with that twist. And again, trying to keep the stretch in the legs, not the back. So bend the knees as much as you need to. Keep those micro adjustments to keep the stretch where we want it. Maybe rolling the weight again into the balls of the feet. Feel that center of gravity as it shifts. And send that breath into the back line. All right, and then we release. Coming into pyramid pose, we're just going to take our hands and kind of pivot to the front of our mat. That left foot probably needs to step in a little bit. Straighten that right leg as much as we need to. Maybe take our blocks on either side of that right leg. And we're setting up. So that back leg is at a 45 on the foot. We're hiking that right hip back, left hip down. And again, generous bend in the knees if we need it. Lengthening through the spine and hinging forward. Gently starting to surrender the head. So we're trying to really feel the stretch in the back of that right leg. So can we focus on pressing into that right foot? Keep that leg active. And lengthening through the spine, shoulders away from the ears as we hinge a little deeper. And just softening and breathe. Can we find more sensation? Some micro adjustments. And then coming into the other side. So taking those blocks if we need them, walking into the other side, going into the left leg. So right foot is at a 45, left leg is straight, hiking that left hip back, leading with the heart, and then hinging in. Maybe a nice micro bend in that left knee if you tend to be kind of hypermobile in your joints. Maybe not. And breathing into that back line. So that constant reminder, left hip is angled back, right hip is angled down and forward, shoulders away from the ears, hinging deeper. Maybe noticing how it feels on this side. We tend to be tighter in one hip or another. So just notice and breathe. And then coming up. Now so let's pivot back to the side, remove any blocks, and coming into separate leg, forehead to knee, Janu Sirsasana. So your right leg is straight, left leg bends in. Inhale those arms up, and exhale, fold over that right leg. So if you can grab the foot, that's great. If not, take that micro bend in the knee, really lead with the heart, and then grab the foot, the calf, whatever's available. And then as you have that connection over time, you can kind of wiggle, walk that right foot out, get the leg a little straighter. But we're straightening through the spine and hinging forward. And then maybe then starting to tuck the chin. We're pulling on that right foot. We're kicking into the hands, that equal and opposite action in that connection. And then softening in the jaw and the face. And coming up and switching out to the other side. So the left leg is straight, right leg comes in. Looking for that like 90 degrees in the hips. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold over the left leg. So again, bend the knees if we need to, if you can't quite make that connection. And then start to kick that leg straighter in time. Lengthening through the spine, leading with the heart, then folding in. We want an active leg here. It keeps the joints safe. So we're kind of kicking into our hands or pulling on the foot. Maybe tucking the chin, get the shoulders away from the ears. And breathing into that whole back line. Maybe a little rock side to side. Just get into the angle a little differently. And then coming back up. Both legs go out straight. Flexing those feet. Again, generous bend if we need it. Inhale our arms up. And exhale, hinging over our legs. Lengthening the spine and then folding in deeper. And again, bend the knees as you need to. Then straighten the legs in time. Maybe stay here for a few breaths. Really pulling on that feet, feeling the sensation. And then as you start to warm up into it, you can soften and fold deeper. You might also want to kind of grab onto your big toes and then press into the fingers. That kind of helps activate my inner leg lines. And then fold in. All right, coming up, we're going to do our supine hamstring stretch. That's the last little bit. So using our strong core, hands out in front of us, pinky spiraling in to lower all the way down. Then the left leg is straight. Take that right leg bend, kind of bring it in, give it a hug for a moment, and then take a strap, wrap it around the foot if you need to, or you can grab onto that big toe. And then just straighten that leg out and then pull it in as close as you can to your chest. Maybe our hand is on our left hip to really keep us grounding down. Can we pull it in breath by breath? Maybe we have a bend in the knee. Maybe that helps you go just a little bit deeper. But we're actively pressing that foot into the strap and we're actively pulling in. Trying to bring some awareness in our sacrum. We're really keeping our hips level. Our low back is rooted in, giving us the space to lift up. Right, then starting to bend into that right leg, giving that knee a little hug. Unwrapping the foot and going into the other side. So right leg is straight, left leg bends. Maybe give our little knee a hug, wiggle it around, wake up that joint. And then bringing that foot in the strap and starting to straighten it up. So again, we're trying to kind of pull that left hip in, root it down. Left leg is straight, right leg is straight, foot is flexed. Maybe we're generously bending the knee. That maybe feels a little bit different and then straightening it. Or we're just keeping it straight and pulling it in. But we're constantly keeping that awareness in our hips, trying to keep them level. That left hip is down. And that maybe gives us the space to pull a little bit deeper. Maybe we're so flexible we can reach our toe and not need the strap and pull it in deeper. But even though I can reach it, I like to use the strap. All right, and then that's it. Giving that leg another little hug. Maybe rock it a little bit. Loosen up the joints. And let's bring both knees in. Give them both a big hug real quick, rocking side to side. And then we'll roll ourselves up to seated and be on our way. So hopefully that feels good in your body today. Hopefully you got everything moving, a little bit of activation, sensation. So let me know how you're doing, if it was great, if it was helpful. I would love it if you could like, subscribe, or just leave a comment to let me know what you liked, what you didn't like. Otherwise, I will see you back on our mats again soon. Bye.